it. And then if people have any questions about what I'm trying to do or what I am doing, like, definitely I'm open to that. I did write a little bit of something down just to let people get to know who I am. So my name is Amy Hand. I started as the Family Resource and Support Coordinator in the district in April of last year. I grew up here in Eugene. I was born at Sacred Heart, and my family is super important to me. I have a 25-year-old son, and my parents have been married for 60 years. I enjoy spending time with them, and I love going hiking and camping with my dog, Finn. I love making food for my friends. I am the recycling crew coordinator for the Oregon Country Fair, and it's really been special to be able to get to know the Veneta and Elmira community a little better through this position, and I'm looking forward to submersing myself in it even more. There are two kind of roles of the family support coordinator. One is looking at the pre-K 0 to 6-year-olds, and the other is looking kind of at school-age children, K-12. We're hoping to hire an assistant to do a family resource center. We've been working hard on establishing kind of a hub at Veneta Elementary School. We want it to be kind of a touch point for families to access like a lending library or resources, and kind of a networking place to do parent groups, play groups, things that we're going to push out into the community a little more, that focuses on getting kids ready for school and helping parents feel confident in their abilities, and just trying to provide that support as they transition into kindergarten. Some of the things that I've been looking at as far as looking at the K-12 is really identifying and networking with teachers and admins and counselors to provide that extra support and attention to those kids that are struggling, and kind of reach out to the parents or guardians and help support them and find out what's going on behind the scenes. And I think a lot of our staff, everybody's got so much on their plates. I'm just an extra tool in their toolbox when they need a little extra support. Some of the exciting things that I've been working on are developing, are enhancing like the clothing closets at each school with school supplies, and then a little more. And that's been really fun. We've definitely increased the services at the middle school, and we're about to open a free store at the high school. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. I'm approaching it with kind of a no barrier access to any student that needs to come in or doesn't. So maybe the kid who is ashamed that they need a shirt or a jacket or some shoes or socks doesn't have to feel like they're the only person coming to access that. So I've been working hard on that and getting a lot of wonderful community donations, and hoping to push that out like on the 28th of this month. So really looking forward to that. And working with our McKinney-Vento liaison has been wonderful, really kind of providing that wraparound care. And that's kind of what I've been up to. And I'm really hoping to hear from people in the community about what they feel like is needed, and where they would like to see this position go. So that's me. Thank you, Gary.
Great. A couple things I'll add. Amy's based out of the district office here. So if you ever wanted to get a hold of her or refer someone to her, that's where she's based out of. And she has her own little page on the website, left-hand side, under Family Resource Coordinator link. So thanks for coming, Amy, and sharing some of what you have going on.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, just a couple other things I wanted to touch base on. All the schools had open houses in the last couple of weeks. They were very well attended, in particular at the elementary schools and middle school, where the elementary schools said they thought it might have been one of their biggest ones in recent history. So that was great that those got to occur again. Our enrollment is up slightly. Well, it's up. What's that?
You were frozen there for a second, so go back to talking about attendance, maybe.
Okay, I froze for a second. Michelle Marshall yelled at me from 2 rooms away, and I could hear her. Enrollment and attendance. We Our enrollment, we anticipated 1,340 students to enroll this fall. We're at 1,359, so up about around 20 kids from our budgeted numbers, so that's good. Attendance, we've definitely had a high absence rate, much higher than in the past. So whether it's kids getting sick or parents doing what they should do and trying to help everybody stay healthy, and if their kids have symptoms of the flu or whatever, keeping them home. But of our about 1,360 kids, as of last week, over 550 had been gone more than 2 days. So that's definitely a little bit higher than normal, especially in September when typically attendance is pretty good. So we'll keep kind of tracking that. Next topic I want to touch on was Parent Square. Hopefully those of you that are parents and are on here have been able to engage with that. It's a new way we're starting to communicate with folks. It lets information go out through one mode. So for example, earlier today, I think I put out a post on Parent Square, and within that one platform, I could send a text, email, however folks want to get their Parent Square notification. I could check a couple other boxes and it goes to the website, and check another couple boxes and it goes to Facebook. So that is nice in that it allows us just to get out information a lot quicker. And I think for parents on their side, it's been nice to, a lot of folks are tied to their phones and they can easily get text about a wide range of things. So we're continuing to try to utilize Parent Square and expand the way that we're using it. But so far, so good. Let's see. 2 more things I want to touch base on. We're getting a little bit closer. I may have mentioned it last month in this meeting, a little bit closer to having a dental clinic on the high school campus. It's essentially a tiny house, a mobile tiny house. We have a full student-based health center there now. And over the summer, maybe late spring, this organization reached out to see if we'd be interested in having them on site. They partnered with Orchid Health, again, who's there on site, to provide dental services. I think their focus is for low-income folks or folks that don't have dental insurance, but I believe they will see anyone. Anyways, I expect that clinic to be up and running by the end of November. And again, it'll be on the high school campus, kind of towards the track on the south side gravel. They have their own contained building, water, etc., running off a generator. They have a dentist and hygienist that will work there. Again, to start with, a couple days a week, kind of depending on need and how much they're used, they might expand. So that's something we've made a little bit of progress on in the last few weeks. And then the last thing, as far as upcoming events, we're kind of wrapping up with fall sports. We don't have any more home football games. The last 2 are away. Soccer and volleyball are wrapping up. And then we have kind of about a month of no athletics until towards the end of November. Each elementary school, in coordination with their PTAs and or parent groups, have a Halloween event happening. So share that if you're interested. They're having a harvest carnival at Elmira Elementary, and I believe it's the night of Halloween. I believe that's a Monday, October 31st. And at Veneta Elementary, they're having a trunk or treat activity in the parking lot. And the time is now 5:42. That was all of the items I had to go over and share with folks tonight. Again, we do this every week, or every week, once a month on board meeting nights. So if you're interested, feel free to attend. Let's see. I got a direct message, and I'll just read it to you. We would like to ask why parents are not made aware of propaganda being taught in freshman English class. It's inappropriate to ask that parents are notified. Is it inappropriate to ask that parents are notified on topics being brought up that is based on opinion and not fact. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. Parents should get a syllabus for every course, and the course should stay in line with the syllabus. The first contact, whenever there's a concern like this, I would say start with the teacher, and if hopefully they can resolve the issue, and if they can't, then I would get a meeting with the teacher and the principal.
Sorry about that. I just appreciate your time. I just had an incident and I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I did talk with the principal and the teacher, and just was really, really concerned about the topic of defunding the police being taught in freshman English, and also Black Lives Matter being an open, one-sided discussion in class. And when I brought it up, I was completely shut down by the principal, and basically told that it was not up to him what is taught in the class, and they can teach whatever they wish. And I just really wish that that would have come home with a permission slip. If there was there's a good chance that if there was a syllabus that it went to my son's father's home. We have split parenting, so I did not see a syllabus, to be fair. But I do, I was really concerned to get a message, when he's actually at school from him, just letting me know the topic of that class. And I was completely unaware that that was going to be happening. And I just really feel that if one side of the story is going to be taught in class, that I really feel like there should have been some notification of that topic.
Yeah, and I don't know, it would seem odd to me that in 9th grade English, it wouldn't seem odd to me that those topics are discussed if they come up, but I wouldn't believe that either one of those topics would be in the curriculum as you refer to it as being taught. So yeah, you've already met with the teacher?
I have. It was Mr. Hart.
Okay, and it's 9th grade English?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's around a book called The Hate You Give, and it just starts, and I get that, but they spent the whole first beginning of that, discussing Black Lives Matter in class, and part of the curriculum, or part of what was said, that there was like information about how police are ruining communities, and that they should not be funded. That was actually discussed in class. This is coming from my son, of course. And he is raised in a house where his, Chris Kilcullen is his stepmom, or Christy Kilcullen. And and he's wearing a Eugene Police Department t-shirt to school that day, ironically. And he calls me upset saying, I don't feel like I need to be in this class. And I didn't even know this topic, this was going to be brought up in this manner. And I just really am concerned that there was no notification coming home, making me aware of this in advance. And then when I ask for a different curriculum, they're like, oh, well, okay, Gavin can just go off by himself in the library and do a different subject. So there's no other option with actual teacher instruction outside of doing an assignment separate, which I do. Mr. Hart offered to give him a different assignment. And I appreciate that. However, he was already in this class. He was already involved in these discussions before I was able to even know what was going on or have enough, notice to be able to have read the book in advance to find out if this is something that, exactly what is being taught. I mean, this is a new book that just comes out. It's a new topic, and it's a very controversial topic, if you ask me. I am very, very upset. This was not brought to parents' attention as far as giving us the details of what is being taught in this class. And for me to have this come home as a surprise and not be fully aware and have had time to review the material myself, I don't feel like this was a fair expectation for freshman English. And I know other parents, if they knew, and some of them are finding out now, what is going on and the topics, are not happy as well. I don't know why there's not more people here. I don't know if this is the right place to bring something like this up, but I just feel like I got nowhere with the principal. So
Maybe
you know,
frozen.
are you frozen? You might be froze. Michelle, are you there?
I'm here. I'm yelling at him from beside the
Okay,
two doors
okay.
down.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thank you. No, I hear you guys too. And I know what he was probably getting on to say. He's still frozen there. So I'm not sure if he wants to come over and talk or if, oh, he's gonna log out and log back on.
Okay.
Yeah, I do, I don't know a ton about this book. I think it is new to the curriculum this year.
That's what
So,
I'm told.
yeah. So it can definitely feel frustrating, and hopefully, is he still going on with it, or he's doing the alternate assignment for every class now?
The thing is Gavin is, you probably remember Gavin.
I sure do.
Yeah, he's definitely not one that can do. I mean, I have faith in my kid, and I guess he can do anything, but he is not one that will go to the library and actually follow through on a 3-week unit by himself.
Without any teacher instruction.
Without
or
teacher, class time to help him through like a section like this. And so knowing my kid, unfortunately, that is, his learning style would not be met. So I'm closely monitoring what is happening with this book. I need to read the book myself. But it's not just about the book. I mean, there's story after story of white cops killing Black people and all the controversy and stories about it. And I am the least racist person there is. I work with people of every race, every color in my business and in my profession. And I honor that is not about race. It's about the way this content is coming. I just don't believe in the content of it. And I don't think that it needs to be pushed in class. I think there's examples from both sides, and I really hope that both sides are represented in this unit.
Yeah, and one thing, sorry.
Let me jump in. Before this, so I kind of, when you got on this topic, before this book came out, before Mr. Hart started teaching this lesson, he emailed me and Mr. Gardner, hey, got a controversial unit come up. I'm sure you might get contacted by a few parents. I was just going back and reading his email. He went through kind of what he was talking about, that he knew that there was going to be topics that came up. What he talked about was they just finished their unit on civil rights, that there'll be topics such as Black Lives Matter or the Black Panther Party or other historical important things in regards to civil rights, and that they were going to be discussed. But just know when you say teaching it, that has a different connotation to me. High school kids, whether it's language arts, social studies, they're going to talk about current events and things happening, in our society today. And, I'm not sitting in that class every day, but I've known Mr. Hart for 25 years. I trust his judgment. I don't think he would be someone that's presenting, as you say, one side of the story. Whether there's, different folks are going to have different opinions on a wide range of topics. And what we need to make sure is that we're, it concerns me when you say, I wasn't informed. That's one piece I want to follow up on. Typically all the high school kids get a syllabus, and for most of them, a parent has to return it signed. I don't know that Mr. Hart does that in 9th grade English now. So anyway.
Again, like I said, if that went home to his father's house, that's W.C. Grover, our split parenting, I would not have seen that. Again, I just got a message from, this was all sprung on me last minute. And honestly, I feel like there needs to be a permission slip that comes home in advance. I mean, I just really feel like I should have had some time to understand the content as a parent, to know what is happening. This should not come as a surprise coming from my 14-year-old who, I don't agree with the way this has come across, and I don't really know what else to do about it. I mean, honestly, your objective opinion is all I can go on. And
Yeah.
This
After
was
you-
very, very aggravating and very frustrating that I feel like it needs to be lined out in detail, showing what is going to be covered. Because when Gavin comes home saying, Mom, they talked about how police are ruining communities. This is a direct quote from my son, and how they should not be funded. This is alarming to me.
It wouldn't be, no, that
About-
wouldn't be alarming to me at all. As somebody who has lots of law enforcement
Okay,
family who
well-
spent 4 years in the military, having that conversation that people are talking about this, it would certainly be alarming to me if a teacher said, I believe X. But talking about that topic, how some folks believe this, and obviously a great number, probably a far greater number of people don't believe that. It doesn't seem, if the context of the unit we're discussing is civil rights, that seems like a topic that would come up. This movement, whether you and I might think it's a wackadoodle movement, which I do, but it's probably something that we should talk about with kids, or just come up and
I can see it coming up, but the one thing is that it's a totally one-sided thing. I guarantee there's no discussion on the other side of it.
well, I wouldn't. I don't know, but that would surprise me.
I'd put $1,000 on the table right now saying that there is.
Okay. Well, I don't know how many high school classes you've sat in, but I've sat in thousands with really good teachers that do a really good job.
No,
I was the principal there for 10 years. So there's always been a controversial issue on this topic. I'll ask Mr. Hart specifically tomorrow. What does this look like when we talked about the topic of defunding the police? Did we have 20 minutes of folks saying why this is a great idea, and then we ended the conversation, or not? What did that look like?
Did they turn around and talk about, the stuff that the police does do for the community? Is there a positive side to this? How is that going to be brought up? Oh, when someone's home is robbed, is there police that show up? How do the tax dollars come up? You know what I mean? How is that going to be brought up in a way that is presented to show both sides? I don't understand. And I agree with my husband I think that I would like to hear that is brought up as well. And if it's not, I don't think that's a fair discussion.
Okay.
And
well,
that needs to be notified. Parents need to be notified of this in advance.
Okay, well, I hear
With an
what you're saying.
alternate curriculum.
All I can tell you, okay, I've got kind of your general thinking. All I can tell you is that there's a wide. I do believe, and I don't know what occurred here, that we should inform parents general outline topics that are discussed in class. I don't know how that went out. I'll look into it. I think you should. After you met with Mr. Hart, did you leave that meeting more concerned or less concerned?
I felt that I was still unheard on the topic. Basically, the only other option there was either he participates or he does something on his own in the library by himself, which my son is not someone who can do that. He just does not thrive in that environment. We know this because of the homeschool experience through COVID. And I'm not willing to let him fail just because of, it's like, yeah, okay. So no, I don't feel confident in it. I don't at all. I think that, if they're going to show one side, are they going to show, black cops shooting white people? Is that going to be the next topic that's taught? I just feel like it's very much portraying things one way. And I don't feel that is necessary in freshman English class. Civil rights is great. And I am all about having open discussions about things that are civil rights. But when it's stuff like, the topics of Black Lives Matter, are they going into how these people are getting thrown in jail for the way they handled the money? Are they going to find out what's going on behind all of that and show that part of it? I don't think so.
They're probably just having a discussion. Again, I don't know. I wasn't in the room, but over the next few years, you're going to have lots of discussions in class on immigration. The people are very polar, and some people might want to be notified if we're having that talk. You're going to have conversations on gun rights. You're going to have conversation on abortion rights and social studies. And, the way we inform parents is through our syllabi. take 50 different parents, 50 of them, all of them might want to opt their kid out of one conversation or another, and they have the right to do that. But that's how we try to accommodate. I don't want my kid being a part of this discussion. Okay, we can provide some alternative activity. What we can't do is say, we're just not going to talk about any of these things. I don't think that helps any kids. So
No, I agree.
I'll look
agree
into
with
some
that.
of what I took good notes here on some of your things. I assume your email's in eSchool, and I'll either give you a call
Okay,
in the next couple of days or shoot you an email.
I would appreciate that. I would just like some sort of follow-up. I just wanted my voice to be heard. So thank you for taking time.
Sounds good. And then my chat got deleted, but I know there was another question around political flags in the building. I know this has been a topic recently, and I assume by political flags, folks mean, because this is what I've heard in emails and phone calls, things such as a sign that says Black Lives Matter, or gay pride flags. And it's really just state law. So we've been given guidance by ODE on what we can allow and what we can't allow. And it's about as crystal clear as you can be, that we need to allow employees the ability to, if they wanted to, have a sign in their room that says Black Lives Matter. Or another example I would give would be a gay pride flag. There is one school district in Oregon, can't think of the name of it right now, that banned both of those. And they're currently in litigation. But if somebody wanted to email me that specific question, I'll go ahead and forward you the guidance we have from ODE and the Justice Department on the topic.
Okay, so there's nothing that you can do local. There's no local, the board's not making that decision for the employees to be able to do that in their classroom.
Sure, the board's just following the law. So like I mentioned, the one school district that did that just created a bunch of so there is, a school board could do that. Superintendent, I mean, I'd quit tomorrow if that happened, simply because they'd be asking me to not follow the law. But a school board could make the decision to do anything, not in compliance with the law, but it's just putting our district and our students in jeopardy financially.
I see. Yeah, so, I just wanted, go ahead.
So Mr. Carpenter, if I could add, let's imagine that a teacher was very pro marijuana. So they had a marijuana flag in their classroom, or they like Jack Daniels. So they put a Jack Daniels poster in their classroom.
Or religious or something.
It just adds influence to those things. It kind of makes them okay. And
we have board policy, and specifically in our handbook, that would prevent that. So neither one of those would allow. We don't allow a kid to wear a Budweiser t-shirt to school or a pot leaf on their socks. So that would not be in compliance with our district policy. A teacher could not, or a student could not do that.
But they can do the political things.
Yeah, well, in that regard, it's I just sent out actually an email to all of our staff this last week that I try to do every political season, reminding them of the things that they can do and they can't do. They can't endorse a specific candidate. They can wear a pin, vote for Trump, vote for Biden, whatever. That is all they can do. They can have discussions on the topic. They shouldn't, be influencing or promoting a ballot measure, a candidate, this kind of thing. They shouldn't use their work email, this kind of stuff. So just so you know, that is a lengthy email I sent to all of our staff last week, kind of reminding them of what they can do. And know that for most of our folks, I'll take the Black Lives Matter issue. I think for most of our teachers, that that phrase, the way they associate that phrase is, it has nothing to do with the organization. It has nothing to do with the organization. It just is making an affirmation to our 0.3% of 1% of African American students who in this community have a very different experience than everybody else. If I'm a Black student in Elmira, I got a very different experience. They need some extra support. They don't have a single teacher that looks like them, a single administrator, a single person in the lunchroom or an aide that looks like them in school. And their experience is a little bit different than Gary's experience at Elmira High School. And their affirmation of Black Lives Matter.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. But I do think it's divisive. And I think what it does is a lot of them would probably say they don't like it. They don't like having that being put up there and them being set apart from everybody else. And so I know you guys in the school's views are, trying to coddle things and like, oh, this, coddle was not the right word, but try to make everybody feel comfortable and everything, which is great. But what happens when you segregate a certain group like the Black Lives Matter, we all believe Black Lives Matter. And there's other ways to do this. They should not be hanging the pride flags. I'm only on here because of my daughter. Okay. I'm only on here because she complained about it last year and she complained about it this year. So she is one person, but she is speaking for a bunch of other students that feel the same way. And so I know that you as teachers maybe are saying, oh, we're doing this for them. They feel bad. They feel so bad. Well, that's your opinion. And it's other kids' opinion that they feel bad when that is being promoted in front of them. And so we disagree with it. We wish that it could be taken down. Both of those flags, you should not have anything political like that. And it is political in the classroom, because if you let that go, what else can they put up? You're just saying to yourself, well, we say you can't put up this or this, the marijuana thing. Well, why the heck not? That's your opinion. So that's all we want to say. I was hoping that we could, I also talked to Mr. Gardner, and he was wonderful when I talked to him twice. I talked to him last year about a different subject and talked to him this year about this. And he was great. And he said that you need to go to the school board because they're in charge of this decision of what the teachers can do in the classroom. But what you're telling me is this is a law, so I can't do anything about it. But it sounds like I kind of can, because you just said that you're making decisions on what they can, huh?
No, it's state law.
It's a state law, but he's saying, you can't have the marijuana thing, but you can have
upfront with you that, a school board could say everybody in our school has to wear a uniform tomorrow. They could say, but what's
no, I understand. If you're saying it's a state law, there's nothing I can do about it. All I can say is I'm complaining about it because my daughter, it bothers my daughter, and that's all I can do. So that's it. That's all we can do.
Yeah. And I'll shoot you an email. Me saying it's state law, I don't know if that's the right term. It's what when you're talking about, like, specifically what you're saying, hanging up a flag, there's no law that says, yep, but there's guidance that says from our attorneys, you are violating that employee's rights. You're opening yourself up to litigation. And they've given all school districts in the state of Oregon guidance on what we can do, just like political buttons and this kind of thing. And if it was that we had to not allow these, that's what I'd be sitting here telling folks. And there'd be the other side of this saying, how come you won't let your teacher hang up a gay pride flag in their classroom? It has nothing to do with what I believe. I'm just trying to well, in one sense, I don't want to disregard and say I'm not doing what I also think is right, but I'm following the law. I'm following what we're required to do. And I'll shoot you some information because I have lots of, this isn't the first time I've gotten a question.
I mean, I don't really care to hear about the information. I'm just wanting to make a change for my daughter. And in my opinion, those flags there's no reason for those flags to be hanging in the classroom. You're not making the gay, maybe you're making the gay people or the Black people, in your opinion, you're thinking that you're making them feel, oh, yay, I have a flag hanging there. I don't really think that is the case. In my opinion, it is in yours, but not in mine. And I just think when you let a little bit go, it just leaves the door open for other things to be opened up. It's easy to take those flags down and let kids enjoy being in the classroom. My child has to be there. She's in public school. She has to be there. So like I was telling my husband, if you look at my wall, you'll see, eternal family, blessings, love, family, all these things like that. That's what we want our children to see is those type of things. So when you're putting things up in their classroom, they're looking at that and it's making them feel a certain way. So you might be making one person feel bad, but you're making another person feel uncomfortable. And to me, it's easy to take the flag down. That's it.
But they're not going to do it.
That's their choice. So anyway, thank you for hearing me out. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thanks, Julie. All right, good, clean fun here on Monday. I appreciate folks coming. As you can see, I do these once a month, and this is usually about our attendance. One time we had like 20, but I don't think that's the only time we were over 10. So please, like I said, I'm open to discussing anything. We kind of got a little wayward here tonight. And the only thing I really need to be careful about is you can criticize the heck out of me, but make sure we're not criticizing our employees. If you have something critical, hey, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, I'm upset with them or whatever, come meet with me. I won't, that's the only, and it didn't really happen here. We kind of got going down a little bit of a slippery slope that I have to be careful on criticizing employees in a public forum. So again, criticize the heck out of me. If you got an issue with a staff member or something, feel free to meet with me anytime. I appreciate you coming. It shows you're interested in your kid's school, and encourage others to come, because I'd much rather have 50 people on here than, I got four district people and 3 sets of parents. So encourage folks to come, and I'm here all day, every day, from early till late. So give me a call if you ever like to meet and talk. These aren't easy topics. I don't have all the answers, but I'll at least, I want to work with parents that, have a wide range of views, and try to get everyone to a place that at least they understand. And while they might not agree with, we've come to some compromise or been able to come to alternatives that at least make them happy. So again, I appreciate you coming.
Well, before you stop, I had a question too. I wanted to ask if that's okay. Okay. I apologize for my voice. It sort of went out. So my questions are related to protocols around notifications that come in from the district office, that go into the district office, that are coming in from the sheriff's office and the fire department.
Give me an example. I'm not sure what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm looking for different types of workflows, and basically when notifications come into the district office, I want to know what are the workflows that determine which schools are notified, and at what level and when they're notified. So our community, I'm going to get real specific for you. Our community, as you know, you guys are right on the front line there, about being, have had to deal with suicides. I'm talking about what your practices are and protocols are. And when you receive this information, has it been vetted? And when is it appropriate for you to be sending out emails to folks, to your staff, things like that? And I totally understand. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. I'm just asking questions so that I have an understanding about what those protocols look like, what your best practices are, and what your workflows are, so I have a better understanding here.
Sure. I think what I caught you specifically mentioned was a student suicide.
Yeah, our community has had several of those, right? And within the last year. So I'm assuming the school district has had some experience there, and you probably have worked out what those communications look like and how you integrate your communications and your processes with the sheriff's office and the fire department. And I'm wanting to know what they are, and if it's documented someplace that I can see it.
It's not really documented. I've been in this district since 1998, and a year-ish ago was the first suicide I've experienced. So when something like that happens, and school districts typically don't deal with that very often, we engage with support. So specifically around student suicide, Lane County Public Health has youth suicide, 2 people, that's their full-time job. So we engaged with outside organizations, Lines for Life, Lane County Public Health, had meetings when for example, first suicide occurred, and they help walk us through, listen what's going on in our community. It can be student specific. It can be specific around exactly what occurred or the circumstances. And they help walk us through notification of students, notification of staff, notification of families. So it's not something.
Yeah, I'm in higher education, and I'm familiar with some of the resources you just talked about. I guess my very specific question is about when you send out notifications to your staff around specific situations, what are those protocols that you have gone through to confirm that all the information you have received is coming in from the I don't know where you would even get this information from, whether you're getting it from the sheriff's office directly to help with students and to help with things that come up with kids and all of that, and your teachers, they need support as well. I'm just curious about what that looks like. I'm not asking about the services that are being provided to help us around all that. I'm asking specifically what the workflows are. So when you're notified, who are you notified from? Is that the district? Is that the sheriff's office? Or how are you notified or brought into to even draft an email or to send something out? That's what I'm really wondering.
Yeah, it just varies every time. I can be from a parent, can be from a friend, can be from law enforcement, can be from somebody that I know that's in law enforcement that just texts me. Can be Lane County Public Health, who got notified by the coroner that they just identified someone as being a student that was died by suicide, and they just identified it as suicide. So
how do you know before you send something out? Like, I'm really looking at figuring out a way that we can do better around this as a community, as making sure that, this district, the sheriff's office, and the fire department are working together in conjunction to make sure that things are not a surprise. I know you know what I'm talking about. So I'm wanting to make sure that
I don't know what you're talking about. So
I want to make sure that parents whose child has died, that they aren't finding out through social media because an email went out to staff before they even knew. And that is what I'm talking about. And I'm wanting to make sure that we put in protocols in place so that this doesn't happen again. So that's why I'm asking you. I want to know what they are. And if you don't have any, then let's make sure we put that. I can't hear you while I'm talking. I can't hear you while I'm talking. So I'm going to finish my sentence. I want to make sure that we can all work together to make sure this doesn't happen, because we can all do better. If we don't have things in place, that's okay. Let's get it in place. That's really what I'm saying.
Okay. You said I know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I haven't sent out an email to anyone recently notifying staff of anything. So probably best if you came down and met with me.
I'm sorry. Maybe it wasn't an email that you specifically sent out. I think it was a text that you sent out.
When?
We like you said, we can take this offline. I'm totally fine with that. I have it. I have a copy of it.
Okay, like in the.
It was sent out on. You sent it on Saturday night, I believe, Sunday morning, one of those 2 days.
Yeah, definitely not. I didn't send out.
Because they have it on my phone.
A text for me to someone?
Yes, but again, Gary, I'm not trying to attack you in any way. You just talked about making sure that we aren't having conversations where we're attacking people in a public forum. I'm not looking to point fingers at anyone. What I'm really looking at doing is talking to you very specifically about what your protocols are. I want to make sure that we have things that are in place so these types of things don't happen. I understand intentions. I get it. And I'm sure there's no bad intentions at all. And I understand that.
Okay. You didn't need to come down and meet with me. Like I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe if we sat down, it would become clear. So,
okay. But can you just, instead of us going through that, can you just answer my other question? Did you say you just don't have anything in place? So you just kind of go with whatever is.
It depends on the issue.
Situation.
It depends on the issue. Okay. I don't know, what else to share than that. As far as our communication strategies after being notified by someone, it depends on the issue.
And I think this someone, like when you're notified by someone, how do you vet that information? Or do you not vet it?
Well, it depends on who I'm notified by. I mean, if I was notified because I read something on social media, I would try to confirm it some way.
Okay, and then how do you know you're sending out something that is, you know, something like this situation, that you know that you've gone through all of the channels, and maybe this is where we just don't have it in place and we need to work on it. And I'm happy to talk about that, you know, when we meet. I just want to make sure this doesn't happen to another family.
Yeah, and again, I don't know what you're referring to, and I don't know when you say something happened, I don't know what that is. So I'm open to meet with you anytime.
Sounds good.
Okay. Got a board meeting in 10 minutes, so I'm gonna head over there. Again, thanks for coming. Please come back every month, same time, same place. Thanks again.